What's up, everybody? BC, welcome back. Another afternoon here in the backyard, and wanted to take a second and shoot a video for you. We're seeing a shift in the real estate market and the economy. Inflation is super high. We're still going back and forth with the war in Ukraine, COVID, if I can even say that anymore, right? And regardless of what your stance is on any of this stuff, it's safe to say that from an economic standpoint, real estate market standpoint, a money standpoint, we're going to see a shift, right? Inflation is up. Real estate market is going to begin to slow down a little bit. We've seen the interest rates go up. So it's inevitable, right? I'm not one with the crystal ball. I don't know if we're going to have a crash. I seriously doubt it, right? We're going to see a necessary correction, right? But that's normal, and we should see it right now. But I want to comment on is whenever these things happen, it's inevitable for there to be a spike in people's demeanor, thought process, and an increase in the tendency to want to give up, because now more so than ever you're seeing circumstances, the market, the economy, whatever you want to call it, something externally is working even harder against you. And I want to make this video because whenever you feel like giving up, whenever circumstances point for you to give up, you need to understand that your internal process and belief system and dedication and commitment and discipline and all that, regardless of any external current condition, has to be superior, has to be or take precedence, and has to be in front of whatever happens externally. This is what allows somebody, as an example, if we go back to the previous crash back in '08, which, by the way, created the most millionaires ever in the history, right, of the United States and the world probably. And think about that for a second before I continue. One of the worst times economically created the most millionaires. So there's something to it, obviously, right? But these people, again, have something shifted in them internally, that regardless of external circumstances, even when everything seems to be at its worst, they find a way, right? That's what allows your internal compass, when you have that belief system set, right? And that takes precedence and is superior to anything external. That's what allows you to be in the position to think clearly, think creatively, and position yourself and use your internal compass, like I said, to guide you in the right way. Because let's say you're watching this and you're a real estate agent. Even if the market was to have a horrific crash, like in '07 and '08, there's still going to be people transacting. Investors are going to be buying up property. People are still going to have to move because of job transfers. Divorces are still going to happen. Probate situations are still going to happen, which means transactions still will happen. And there's going to be people making money. What I've heard from every top dog in real estate specifically, but I'm sure you can find this paralleled in many other industries, right? Across the board. More people become rich and take up market share during the bad times than in the good times. So the people who stick with it, that 10 or 20% who right now are doing the lion's share of the business, get even richer and get a bigger piece of the pie. Yes, we can say they're in a, in quotes, privileged position because they already have success and money, but it doesn't matter. Because I know people who came into the real estate market brand new and fresh when it crashed. And it was tough for them to get started, but they made it through and they built up a business. And then when it got normalized and the market started working in their favor, they exploded even more. So regardless of circumstances, they were able to make it happen. So what we see here, right, the common denominator here is the person's internal belief system was superior. Now, where we struggle with that is you make the mistake of wanting or requiring outside support from people in order for you to continue doing what you're doing and believe what you believe. That's incorrect. It's tough to say, and it's a tough pill to swallow, believe me, because I felt like I had the world against me when I started about 10 years ago. But you got to make it happen, and you have to be okay with going back to your corner, if this is a boxing match, and not having anybody there but yourself. And still knowing that you're going to get up every round and win. It's a harsh reality. Anybody who supports you must be seen as icing on the cake. It shouldn't be a requirement. Same thing with somebody holding your hand in whatever industry you choose to get into. I'm seeing more and more the mass consciousness of people shift to where it's almost like, well, I need help if I start. Are you kidding me? That's a one-way ticket to failure. And you're exhibiting traits of entitlement. If you get the help, fantastic. Of course you should take it. But to come in already, well, if I do X, Y, Z, I need my hand held and help, that's wrong. You got to be willing to do it alone. The strong are built that way. They don't look for handouts. I was happy to get any help I got along the way. However, I was fully prepared to take this journey by myself, which I did the majority of the time. Why? Because even if you have help, when those moments are crucial, when you're dealing with like a business situation, a sales situation with a customer or whatever it is, you're going to be alone, even if you're getting help in those moments. In those particular moments that are pivotal, that are going to determine the trajectory of your career and what happens next, you will be alone. You will be alone. So what are you going to do? Because when I was faced with that question by people, how did you not give up? How did you keep going? Well, what's the option? If I give up, I literally fail, right? Because that's when failure kicks in, when you give up and you throw in the towel and there's no next day or next moment. That's the only time you fail. If you still continue, because remember, failure presupposes an endpoint. If you keep going, there is no endpoint. Therefore, you have not failed. You just haven't succeeded yet to the point that you want to succeed. Think about that. So people ask me that question. I said, there is no plan B. If I fail, I got to do something else. I don't want to do something else. I don't want to get a regular job. I don't want people laughing at me. Not that it matters, but I don't want people laughing at me saying, see, I told you you wouldn't make it. I swore to myself I would be buried 6 feet under before I gave somebody the pleasure of telling me something like that ever in my life. So it's on you is what I'm saying. Hopefully this message helps you. But you have to learn to rely more on yourself and look at other people as allies, however, as icing on the cake and not a requirement. The moment you become self-reliant and you learn to appreciate being alone, building alone, and going through the school of hard knocks, your life will change, and anything you take on after that will have a different meaning, and you'll approach it with a different energy and mindset, because those are the internal shifts and improvements that you need to make to get wherever it is that you want to go with anything that you want to do. All right, my friends, so that's it for this one. I have links below to Bryan Casella, my website for courses, coaching, all that fun stuff. The free webinar I'm doing next week, I'm going to pin it in the comments. My challenge that I have coming up, right? Anything else that I have to offer is on the website and will be linked below. All right, see ya.